Now the original message. In this video, you will learn how to surrender, what to surrender, how to trust surrendering, and why this is the most powerful thing any being can do. You will learn what you are surrendering to, and I promise, if you can fully commit to this, life will change very, very quickly. It can all truly change for you before the video ends. So now I will ask you to put away any distractions. You can listen with your eyes open or closed, but I don't want you to listen with the ears. Drop your attention into the heart and listen from there for the remaining of this video, because the heart will know exactly what I'm talking about, because the heart knows reality. This will not be a mental activity. Surrendering isn't a mental activity. You'll have to feel your way through it. So first, take a couple deep breaths and don't claim this breathing to be personal. You aren't breathing, but there is an awareness of breathing happening. Focus on that for a couple breaths. No need to force the movement of the breath now. Allow it to flow naturally. Now you can notice the breath from the heart area, almost as if the heart is breathing. Stay there for a couple breaths. Okay, so remember that awareness that is aware of everything at the moment. This is what I will be pointing you to surrender to. This awareness is God. This presence is God. This consciousness is God. And as you begin to give your life to it, everything changes. Now I know you're so used to hearing that you are God, and you are, but you're not at the same time, because there is no you here to be it. There is only God. See it like this. God is the sun, and you are the sun rays. The sun can say, I am one with the sun rays, but the sun rays are not the sun directly. The sun rays have a source that's greater than it. So this awareness is greater than you. It's free from you, regardless of what happens to you. The awareness is never affected by it. Can you notice that? Can you notice that it's awareness that's aware of the story of your life? This awareness has been here this whole entire time. God has been here this whole time because God is awareness. God is presence. There has been something here in your life that has been watching your life change, but it's never changed. Never. And it's always been here. It's what's listening right now. It was here before you, before this egoic character came. Before you grab onto this identity as whatever your name is, you were this. Do you realize you were taught to be somebody? They gave you a name. Then you identified with this name and built a story around it. There is something deeper within you. It's deeper than a name. It's deeper than the story of your life. It's deeper than the past and future. It's deeper than the mind. And it was here before all of that came into play. It came first. It's the foundation of everything. So with that being said, if at one point you weren't who you think you are now, what were you before? And there is no identity to answer that question with, because you didn't have one, you didn't exist. So to go back to what you truly are, you surrender your life back to that which is actually here. The illusion of a you has to surrender back to what actually does exist. And that's God. That's this awareness that's here and now. Melt into the presence of God now. Completely let it drown you. Let it drown the body. The thoughts, the past and future do not exist. Only God does. Allow the presence of love to take your life away, because you don't truly have a life anyways, and you never did, because you were never the character that the mind is telling you that you are. The mind isn't talking about you. It's simply telling a story about a story. The story of your life is just a story, and the mind is the one telling it. You don't have a past, because you aren't the character in the past that the mind is talking about. The same applies to the future. Those places only appear to exist in the mind, but what's the truth? You have never left the presence of God. You literally cannot leave this moment. Go ahead and try. As you begin to give your life away, this you that you believe you are begins to disappear. Meaning thoughts just stop telling a story of who you are, and then all that's left is God. But don't make God your new identity. God isn't something you can identify with. It's simply all there is. God is everything. And because God is everything, you need to see that's why it's impossible for a separate you to exist. There is no you and God. There is only God. You do not exist. Yet you can have a relationship with God, but it isn't necessarily two in that relationship. It's God coming back to know itself. This is why we may hear teachers say, you are everything, or you are God. Yes, that's true, but I think it's more understanding when we say God is everything, or consciousness is everything, because there is no you here. And when you focus and surrender to that which is everything, you begin to merge with it. You begin to see what God sees, which is the oneness with everything. You begin to experience God's nature, oneness, love, freedom, peace, joy. You start to realize that death is an illusion. Only the character you believe yourself to be can appear to die, but God is eternal. It was never born, nor can it die. And because God is all there is, who's really dying? Nobody has ever died, because nobody is here. There's just God. So why should you surrender everything to what I am pointing to? Well, why wouldn't you? God promised itself so much if itself returned home. Unconditional love, eternal life, great wisdom, strengths, peace, freedom from suffering. I mean, this is what you are seeking for, right? The truth. It's here and now. You can surrender to it here and now and begin to experience miracles. Why continue to play in the illusion? Now, I'm not saying to not enjoy this game of life, but why not enjoy it while knowing the truth? It's much more fun that way. The seriousness of it goes away, and you return to that childlike energy. Fear, anxiety, depression, all of that goes away. Just surrender it back to Source. Just become alert to presence and give everything to it. Give your life to it. Give your worries to it. Give what you have to do after this video to it, and be here with it fully. Give your heart to it. You will glow different when you practice surrendering, because it will no longer be a person who's claiming to be in that vessel. It will be God flowing through it. Your appearance will change. You will light up rooms with your presence, because it will be God's presence. You will talk differently. You will see things differently. You will carry yourself differently. Everything changes. Your heart will change, and I think the toxic side of spirituality is that it can make you feel as if you have to fix everything and do everything on your own, but you don't, and you can't anyways. Give it to God. You don't have to do anything. Just continue to surrender so much to the point to where you disappear the same way Jesus did. God was clearly flowing through that vessel. The egoic character of Jesus was completely gone, and the same can happen through you. You don't need church or religion to know what I am talking about, but they can help if you understand what their scriptures are truly talking about. You can read the Bible to grow your trust. It's a very powerful book when you know what it's actually talking about. Faith plays a big part in this, because the ego will refuse to believe that this is the way. You can pray. You can still ask for manifestations. You can do whatever you need to do to get closer and closer to fully surrendering. And there is no need to seek for what you are, because it's revealed to you. You can't find it by looking for it. Just surrender to consciousness, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And then you'll realize that's all that's here, and that's when you realize it's you. But it isn't something personal. It's not something you can grasp onto or identify with. It's simply all there is. This is the way to liberation, to truly ascending, to truly experiencing freedom and everlasting joy. It may sound different from what I may have taught in the past, or different from what you may have heard from other teachers, but this is what everyone is pointing to. Everyone is talking about the same thing, the same way every religion is talking about the same thing. There can only be one. It's just that language is a huge barrier, so it gets confusing, very confusing, and it can throw seekers in holes that they stay in for decades. But for now, let go of knowledge completely. It doesn't matter what you believe or what you understand. God, consciousness, it's beyond all understanding. So the key is to surrender. Give your heart to it fully. The truth will be revealed to you to the point to where it's impossible for you to believe any doubts the mind has about it. Feel into presence. Enter the kingdom empty. Don't come as a person's. Don't bring fears or worries. Don't bring feelings and thoughts. Don't bring the body. Be nothing and surrender to that, which is everything. Watch how fast life changes for you.